We are about to hear the questioning of Noel Douglas and MT at the Undercover Policing Inquiry. Both men were members of Globalised Resistance, which was infiltrated by the undercover police officer HN118, who used the cover name Simon Wellings. We heard from Guy Taylor on Monday, and a lot of the stuff that was covered in that session will be reflected in the questioning of Noel Douglas and MT. Both were comrades of his. This morning we start with Noel Douglas. That session will be open, live and broadcast. You can see the link to the broadcast, which will start at 10:10 in the description under this video. This afternoon session with MT will be closed. Not entirely closed. We won't be able to see him. There will be no broadcast. There'll be no webinar, but I will be allowed in the room. And as I understand it, I will be able to report live on Twitter, with a 10-minute delay. I don't know if that is definitely going to be the case, but I'm hoping so. I'm joined by Donald O'Driscoll of the Undercover Research Group. Hello. We've only got one mic because I need to get a new XLR cable. The other one died yesterday on Monday. Didn't manage to pick one up yesterday. And I've just noticed that Guy Taylor has come into the room. Do you want to join us for this broadcast? Let's move along and get three of us in. So I'm afraid there's only one microphone. I was just explaining. So. As we heard from your evidence on Monday about the infiltration of Simon Wellings into Globalised Resistance, and we were expecting to hear a lot of the same questions from Noel Douglas today. What are you expecting him to get asked about?
I think with Noel, I think they're going to drill down onto a lot of the personal stuff. So we'll hear stuff about how he describes people's relationships and what have you. They touched upon that with me, it was. And I think maybe we'll get some more stuff on overseas travel. I'm not sure. I don't know how much they can ask or want to ask about that. But certainly Wellings came overseas with us on 5 or 6 occasions. As we alluded to on Monday, he got a huge amount of money for it. He got massive per diems and expenses.
Yeah. I think other than Mark Kennedy, he's possibly the most travelled officer. He is getting a lot out of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think when we were in New York, he got $350 a day, and we supplied his accommodation. It was quite astonishing.
And this is in the early 2000s.
Yeah. Not now.
Quite a wedge, like.
Yeah, quite a wedge, and well, he had to fund his beer somehow, didn't he? So
like 100 pints a month, a lot.
Well, the thing is, with the 100 pints thing, I mean, he was only with us. I mean, he didn't live his life. He wasn't having a relationship. So he came along to meetings and the pub afterwards, and that was his work for the week, quite often. So it was rare we saw him more than twice a week, and only normally once or maybe 0 times a week. So he had a lot of spare time, that lad, and he put in. I mean, even though he was quite prolific in his reports, most of them were fantasy and just he could have done from his own bedroom, which he probably did. But he didn't do a lot of work. He wasn't around much, so he relied on his imagination and sending off lots of reports to look busy, and then he gets lauded as he's got commended for things by the cops as well. So quite astonishing, really, that to command such a wage on very, very part-time work, really.
But he's the elite of the elite.
Oh yeah.
He's the daddy of the unit. He's like
he was a field daddy, wasn't he? He was the longest-serving undercover cop at one point, so that gets you that title, which is.
And he's considered to be a good undercover by their standards. And we're looking at going. I'll come on to you. We're going to challenge a bunch of that, but we should probably continue with what's happening today.
Yeah, and one thing which Noel Douglas said to me when we did a recap during your evidence on Monday was that he would have considered him a friend. That he felt he did know him a bit better than maybe you did at the time, and feels that sense of betrayal around on the friendship level. So maybe we'll have a look at that as well with the questioning.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly feel the betrayal. Over time, you kind of get. I mean, he got invited to things. If I had a party, he would be invited. But I mean, not because he wouldn't be first down on the list for sure. But he would be. Yeah, we included him in everything we did, really.
But you see this when he goes into dissent, he picks 1-2 people and kind of sticks them to like glue. And it seems like Noel was the unfortunate person in this case. It's like.
I think there was other people in the steering committee he was much closer to.
Okay.
And in fact, one of the people that didn't believe he was a cop, who he met with afterwards. So We didn't really cover much of that on Monday, but yeah, he claimed to have met up with people, which I've had their accounts of as well, which is vastly different from his intricate, great confessions and tearful breakdowns and what have you. And yeah, just put some reports in about that. How, I mean, apparently I was the person that I had to kick him out of the organisation because I was told to by the SWP Central Committee, which is bullshit. I mean, I kicked him out. I told a couple of people on the CC who were involved in GR, and they said fair enough. So I mean, he builds up these really, really elaborate stories to justify and just like a lot of them do, I'm sure. But yeah, it's pretty sorry tale all told, isn't it?
Looking ahead to this afternoon, because as well as hearing from Noel, we'll also be hearing from MT today. That session won't be broadcast live, so the only way people will be able to follow it is on Twitter with the live updates from people who are in the public gallery. 10-minute delayed updates at any rate. That I would imagine is going to centre largely around this bogus plot. Mostly bogus plot. This harebrained scheme that you heard from somebody called X, which then Simon Wellings jacketed onto MT for essentially racist reasons. It's an incredibly serious matter. It's something which we've seen similarly with, in the case of L3 with James Thompson, where the undercover officer fabricates a very, very serious, possibly lethal scheme that supposedly someone is planning, that they fabricate lots of details about, and then show that they foiled as a sign of showing that they were a great undercover officer, and then leave.
It goes all the way back to Lambert and Debenhams. It's the same MO repeatedly. And you might think, oh well, Lambert was often one. Now we're seeing that Wellings is yet again in that line of a very dubious tradecraft.
But and it's something which then is left on a person's sort of permanent record, and though he had no idea that this was alleged against him for all these years, all these decades, who knows what impact that's had on his life without his knowledge?
Yes, I mean, like a lot of reporting. I mean, I had an experience where I went to Hong Kong for the World Trade Organization protests in 2005, I think it was, and I ended up going via South Korea. Did a few talks and a few meetings in South Korea beforehand. Flew into Hong Kong on a plane load of activists who were, everyone was South Korean apart from me, and I get pulled at the immigration, and the Chinese police know a fascinating amount about my job and what I was doing and what have you, and it was. Can't work out where they got the information. So I think hopefully in Tranche 5 we'll be getting on to where info ends up, I hope, because it's about management, maybe. I don't know. Certainly we got some questions about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we may get answers, but it would be very likely that we don't. What do you reckon?
I'm not holding my breath. I'll be dead by now.
No, but it's important to ask those questions.
Yeah, it is important. Yeah. And it's something we will be constantly raising in our opening and closing statements wherever we can. It's like, and even the Metropolitan Police said it in one of their statements for this tranche was like, one thing no one's heard from is the clients, the customers of all this intelligence. And it's like, well, it's one of the rare times I'm actually in agreement with the Metropolitan Police. We're asking for that as well. The only people who don't seem interested in that is the inquiry. Although it's the Metropolitan Police, you have the files. You could put them out. Just saying that.
And I think this goes, I mean, earlier on you were saying about the amount of international travel that Simon Wellings did with you as a group and how that is outside the remit of the inquiry. It's a very frustrating process where they cherry pick things that happened overseas, whether they're going to cover them or not. The chair will often say, oh, well, I mean, it will have no impact on my final report because my auspices are simply within England and Wales. But yeah, I mean, they have, I mean, I can't talk about what reporting restriction orders are about, but certainly anything with an international dimension clearly isn't getting out. Should we put it that way?
Or very limited. No, I think they will go into some of the international stuff, but only if it's tied to a particular issue or goes to the credibility. So like Carlo's trips to Italy, which is clearly, a jaunt for the unit. Well, it goes to mismanagement within the unit, so you can touch on that. But if it's like an actual undercover thing in Italy, then it becomes a bit more.
All the sex tourism to all these territories where sex work's legalized. I mean, which obviously they went to Nevada for the food scene, and not the fact that there's legal prostitution there. And same reason they went to Amsterdam for the food scene, not for the sex and drugs. I mean, that has been raised a couple of times, though. Of course, we've had very little in the way of like truthfulness from any of the undercover officers about those trips. Yeah, so I mean, like in terms of MT's question this afternoon, which will be around this plot and like his knowledge of it. Why? I mean, there was very pointed questions from the chair. It's always very illuminating when the chair asks a direct question of a witness. It's clearly something that's on his mind, and he asked you quite a strange question, really. Right? Yeah. I mean, like I mean, he was asking if there was any, like reason that you knew for sure why did he got confused between these two men? And I mean, there clearly was no reason at all, and it was purely seemed to be, and it was a better collar.
I think Meeting was just making sure get absolutely clear, clarified, because he's going to make a judgment on this. My reading of that is Meeting is going to raise this in his interim report.
I mean, the fact that he said to you that you'll have to wait till his interim report next year to find out what his finding of fact on the matter is suggests that it is going to be, you're going to get your own subheading on this topic.
Let's hope so. I mean, it's a very, very serious thing. And I mean, MT, who I know, obviously, could have had a huge impact on his life. And maybe he did. I don't know. But certainly, I mean, in the recording we heard yesterday of the fateful phone message, he gets two people mixed up, and I think he did genuinely get them mixed up. I mean, I think what he saw is, I've seen that name, and I've got that name with that surname. There must be that person. Stupid thing, and really slack and very, very clumsy policing, if you ask me. But that was more of a genuine mistake. But this one, there's just no chance of God's earth that you could ever get these two people mixed up. They were like chalk and cheese. So, that kind of thing, which can have massive implications for people's lives. I mean, it's just horrible. I mean,
I'm really reminded of the blacklisting, which has, for a lot of people, has been a massive tragedy across their lives, which they simply didn't know about. They didn't think anything was happening to them. They just weren't getting jobs. And they didn't know the reason why. And it might be the case that there's been huge impact on MT's life from the fact that he, very, very, very on brand. There might have been huge impacts on his life that he simply doesn't know the reason why that happened the way that it did. And it's because he's got this black mark against his name because of some fictional reporting by an undercover police officer.
That's right. I mean, I know quite a few of the Sparks who are on the Jubilee line, because I did a lot of work around that dispute. And a lot of them just did not work again. I mean, like that's like sacking from your harsh. It's just beyond words, really, isn't it? I mean, it's that impact is just so devastating, and people took their own lives after that. So horrible.
Yeah,
we have got to remember. People did multiple people committed suicide, and it's like that's on the blacklisters. That's on the people who supply the information. It goes all the way back to Shrewsbury with, they're actually sending people to prison for it, destroyed lives. So fuck them all.
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck them all. You heard it here first. So two witnesses today. The hearings will start in the next 5 minutes, so we better head in. You will be able to watch this morning session. This afternoon session won't be broadcast, but I will be able to tweet. Please, if you're able to join in with any of the tweeting or share, like these videos, it makes a huge impact how widely they're seen. Anything else you'd like to add before we head in?
I think that's enough.
Fair play. Right, we'll see you during the morning break. Bye for now.